Hey guys, welcome back. This is Brett with Precision Machine Shed. So today we are back working on the Allis Chalmers forklift. And where I left off with this thing was it was running, but we had a bad head gasket leak, and I can still see we have a head gasket leak. We have water around here, so I think it's coming up through somewhere. I got a hold of a few people, and somebody told me, call these guys, Olson Gaskets Incorporated out of Port Orchard, Wisconsin. And they happen to have a brand new old stock head gasket for this guy. So what I'm gonna do is, today I actually got this thing in my garage, so it's actually warm in here where I can work on it. What I'm gonna do is pop this head off again, and I'm gonna check it. I don't really wanna deck it because I haven't decked a head before, not to say I'm not gonna do it, but with this gasket and the copper Permatex spray-on gasket, which I will show you here in a little bit, that together is supposed to seal these up pretty good, even if there's a little imperfection here or there. So what I got to do here is I got to take the battery off, got to drain the coolant a little bit, take all this stuff off, and get back into it and pull the bolt heads off. So nothing too crazy here, but I'll get to it and we'll see if we can get this thing apart, and we'll look at it here once we get the head popped off. Be like the 8th time I've taken this battery out here, which is always a fun process. Come on, baby! Oh. The easiest thing to do is going to drain this bottom line, a coolant line here, to get all this coolant out of here. All right, moment of truth. Let's see how bad we did here. This should be loose. Yep. Nice. Oh, and we lost a hose there, but that's okay. Oh, that's right in the way. That's awesome. Oh yeah, we're full of water there. Yeepers. I wonder why it didn't run. But of course, we got some little head gasket leak there. So we'll have to, well, it's running. We'll have to put the new oil in this baby too when we get to that point. But for sure, we got some leakage. Not what you want to see. All right, good as new. Let's throw her back together. No, just kidding. So let's see if I can wiggle this old head gasket off, because this guy's getting replaced. This is our culprit here. I might need a little thinner. There we go. Something to get a hold of it with. I'm sure these are squished around these bolts too, so it might be kind of a chore to get off these studs. There we go, coming off. Oh, come on, baby. So this is kind of what I was expecting. So these, there we go. These gaskets have little copper rings on them. If you can see, all these little rings are copper, and they're meant to squish down up against the head gasket, or the head, between the head and the block. And those, it's actually starting to delaminate there, so that was going bad. But so this is the bad head gasket. Hopefully my new one matches up here. We'll double check it here, but that's what it looks like. Well, let's do a little cleanup here. It's funny that these things are called Waukesha ICK, or the ICKs. So it's actually kind of a little icky. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to, a couple of these valves are open. I don't know if they're intake or exhaust, but I'm going to try and not get any crap in there. But I'm going to wire brush the top of this the best I can. Don't know a better way. If there is, I'm not an engine builder, let me know. Leave a comment below. Tell me I'm doing it wrong. So I'm just going to clean this up best I can here a little bit. So again, I am no engine expert, but I don't see any pitting. Warpage would be, I'd have to stick a straight edge on there. I don't think I'm going to worry about that, because even if it is warped, there's nothing I'm going to do about it. We'll take a look at the head here too. Let me clean a little more out of here. We'll probably gain about a cubic inch. Ah! Alright, that worked out okay anyways. Alright, well there's our head, and actually the closer you look at it, it doesn't look too bad. It's a little dirty of course, and we got a bunch of gunk in there, but we'll wire wheel it here and see what we got. This one was cylinder 1, and there's all sorts of goo in there, so I think that was probably the worst. Let me get a razor blade here, and oh yeah, look at that. Grass. So, oh yeah, all sorts of good goo on there. So let's see, number 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 4 were a little gunked up, but 1 I think got the brunt of it because that had the leak, or a leak. But the surface here so far looks pretty good, so we're going to clean this up, get the wire wheel after it. Let's see what we can come up with here. I'd like to say I've seen worse, but this is the first one I've ever actually done, so this is the worst I've ever done. So I'm not going to work too terribly hard to get the inside, the top of the combustion chamber there cleaned up, because quite honestly, I don't care. It's not going to matter, I don't think. I get all the miscellaneous crap out of there. Hopefully the rest of it will all just burn out of there when I hot rod this thing. So the overall surface of this thing doesn't look too bad. However, there is a little bit of pitting around the water jackets here. I'm hoping that I've got this copper, let me go grab it, copper Permatex spray gasket, high temp sealant. I've been told that this stuff works pretty well with these gaskets. Let me take this gasket out of here. I'm going to clean this up a little yet, but that's the surface I'm worried about, of course, is around the water jackets here, or the water passageways. Funny thing, this gasket, Victor 1689, same exact thing that I pulled out of my, that we just pulled out of there a second ago. And get a shout out to these guys, Olson Gaskets. They did a phenomenal job finding me this, although it was like 70 bucks, so not bad considering it's a new old stock gasket, and it's exactly what I need, otherwise I wouldn't be doing this. So I'm going to work a little more and get this cleaned up here, and then we're going to start to put this gasket back on. Well, lo and behold, you know, I always get lucky with these things. So this is the housing for the thermostat, and there actually isn't even a thermostat in there. I don't know if there's supposed to be one in there, but regardless, this has some studs on here, and I see this one's bent. That's why it wasn't coming off easy. This stud, of course, snapped off. I tried everything I could. The nut snapped off on the top, and then I tried everything I could to get this out, and of course it snapped off right in the head. So the only way to fix this, of course, is I'm gonna have to get in here, and I'm gonna first mill this off flat. We're gonna find the center of it. I'm gonna drill it, tap it, undo what I did just now, and then I'll have to put a new stud in there. I might even actually have to make one, or whatever the deal is here, but it's never simple doing this stuff. So let me mill this guy out and we'll redo her. All right. Well, I'm gonna eyeball this guy as best I can. This paper towel's in here just to catch any riffraff that goes through there. Yep. We'll call that good. Spot that guy. So I don't know what size this bit is, but it's just a small bit to get us through there. And that does go all the way through there, so we can drill all the way through there. There we go. Well, I switched over to a drill chuck here. So this is a 203 bit. Alright, so it is 5/16, so we're gonna drill 1/4 inch out here. And I'm still pretty much centered up. Oop, that pulled that down. Anyways, I can still have to pull, I think, that last little bit. I think we pulled our threads right out of there. I can see the threads in there, so I don't even think we need to cut it. I drilled that bolt right out of there, so I'm gonna have to go in there and dig it out. Alright, so here's what came out of there. There are the threads. So you can see I drilled it basically perfectly centered. Drilled what was left of the threads, just kind of screwed right out of there, so that worked out extremely well. Now I can put a new stud in there and make a new gasket and put this guy all back together, hopefully. Yeah, pretty sure this thing was supposed to have a thermostat in there because there's a recess, but I'm not gonna do it right now because I don't have one. I'm just gonna cut some gaskets with my little gasket, what I got left here. Do the old hammer method. You should really have a ball peen. That's what I need, a ball peen hammer. I keep forgetting to get one. There we go. Good enough I can cut it out. And I believe I do have hole punches here somewhere. I gotta go find them. Alright, I got that cut out with the scissors and a thingy. So, we'll hole punch this guy. Bow, 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 bow. There we go. I just got to get the other one put in the right spot. I wonder if these are, hey, look at that. The back side of that punch is kind of rounded, so it'll show me where my hole is exactly. Perfect. I gotta find a stud to put in there and make one more, and then this thing will be back together. Then we can carry on to what we were doing in the first place here. Replacing the head gasket. There, that looks good. I'll probably come back and put a thermostat in here later at some point in time. You know, I honestly don't plan on running this thing more than 10 or 15 minutes at a time, so I don't know if it's necessary, but obviously it ran without it, but we'll see. Well, finally we got her cleaned up, and I got that stud replaced, and funny enough, this is 5/8, it's 5/8 18 on the bottom and 5/8 24 on the top, and I didn't have a 5/8 24 extra nut, and then when I went to, so I just did 5/16 18 on the top and the bottom, and funny enough, when I went to go grab a couple nuts out of my random drawer there to tighten the stud in, I happened to grab a 5/8 24 nut that I had in there, so I could have tapped that to be correct, but whatever, it's holding. So there's the old stud, and funny enough, here I found the, I don't know if you can see it there, but those are the threads left over. Just the outside part, the center has all been cut out of the threads that I drilled out of there, so that worked out perfect. And now I'm ready to finally throw this thing all back together. All right, everything I've read says you take this gasket, spray her with a little lubrication, not lubrication, but spray. So these have been cleaned, and I'm happy with how they look, so I'm going to set that off to the side. And this has these little sealant things here. You know, we should actually check to see how this head is. I don't think it's warped, but let's check it quick with a straight edge and see where it's at. And this is just an inexpensive aluminum straight edge. And I'm not sticking any feeler gauges under there, but it's pretty good, pretty straight. Straight enough for this application. If it's not, I'm not messing with it anymore. I've already stuck way too much time into this thing. So, alright. So the instructions say, shake this up for a minute, which I shook it up a minute ago, and then spray an even coat about 8-10 inches away across the top side of this thing, flip it over, do the same thing. The guy at Olson Gasket move this away from my face. The guy at Olson Gasket that sold me this gasket said the same thing. He said probably not a bad idea to put this copper sealant spray on this gasket. It helps seal it up a little better. And we do have some imperfections around the water ports there between the head, so we'll see. Hopefully this will help. 8 to 10 inches from surface. Apply evenly both sides of the gasket. Then it doesn't say anything after that, so. Alright, I'll give it a shot here. Copper. Okay, well that's kind of cool. It's like copper spray paint. So I think this stuff dries fairly quick. And we'll flip it over to the other side, and then I'm going to double check the head surface and the block surface and make sure that we're nice and square. Not square, but clean. And then I actually have to take all the head bolts and clean those out yet too, because they're kind of gunked up. But other than that, we'll throw this all together here in a minute, and hopefully we can get this thing back together today. Well, I believe we have everything all tidied up here. I'm just going to give this one last little wipe. Because I want every part of my little gasket to stick that can. Alright, and here is my gasket. So this says the top, there's a top and a bottom. And the tricky part is getting it on here. So I sprayed that sealant on there. Alright, here we go. That is on. And get this on there. Ooh. I took it out of neutral there. So this is going to be the tricky part. That stupid sensor's right in the way of that. There. So there is a torque specification for these, and I'm not 100% sure what it is. Everything I've read says around 95 to 100 foot-pounds of torque, and you have to follow, there is a pattern to do for it. So I'm just going to make my best guess and say 90 to 95 foot-pounds. I'm going to start in the middle and work my way out and hope for the best. I'll probably do a couple steps because that thing has to squish down in there. I got to find my torque wrench here. I have 2 torque wrenches and I have no flippin' idea where they are. Can never find them when I need them. Anyways, well, I'll use the old arm pounds of strength here to get my torque setting. Alright, well, I got it all back together, propane and everything hooked up, and we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't leak. This thing shouldn't be smoking white, so if you noticed before in the previous video it was smoking white really bad. And the one guy said you don't need to hit the gas, so I don't know, we'll see. Make sure it's in neutral here. Pretty good. Fix this here. Yeah, it runs not too bad. There's probably, I need to change the oil on it yet. Let's shut it off and see if it'll start back up. Yeah, that's okay. So, awesome. Got her going. I guess I was going to sell this thing. I told you guys I was going to sell it, but I guess here it still is. Just got that head gasket replaced. It looks like it's working pretty good. Let's crack the top open here and I'll take a quick peek and make sure nothing looks out of the ordinary. Everything looks good. So, probably the next thing I do on this is just change the oil, and then it'd be nice to get some brakes on this thing. This thing has a really bad cylinder leak. You can see here we got a pretty bad cylinder leak. I'll have to actually go get a pig mat to fix that, or fix it. Yeah, I wish a pig mat would fix that. That's a bummer. I know these old machines get leaks like that, so what do you do? All right, guys, well, that's a wrap for this one for today. Got any comments or questions, let me know in the section below. I'd sure appreciate any help that I can get with this thing. It's been a steep learning curve so far. If you want to see more of this thing get work done, let me know. Otherwise, I might sell it. I keep saying that, but I would like to actually sell it, because hopefully now that I got it running right, and I actually just did set the points on it, so that was part of the issue, that it wasn't running right. The only thing on this thing that it could really use is some brakes. It doesn't have good brakes. Of course, the cylinder would need a rebuild, but I'm not doing that unless somebody local knows how to do that for an affordable price, but I'm assuming not. It's probably a job, I'm assuming. But I should do brakes on this thing at the very least, or at least get the emergency brake working, because there's a cable down there that controls that, and I guess if you had a handbrake, if nothing else, it's better than nothing. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know what I did right and what I did wrong. Well, at least we got it running. Let's see if I can pop it off again one more time here. Pretty excited about that. So as always, thanks guys for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification button so when I got a new video coming up, you can be aware of it. And if you want to help support me do projects like this, there's a link in the description below. It surely helps me out. It helps me do stuff like this, and it keeps me motivated to keep going. So can't talk today, but there we go. See you guys next time. Thanks for watching.